And we're back with another episode.
It's hot today, right? It was like I was dying at jujitsu.
Yeah.
I was like really, it felt like a summer day.
I wasn't because I drink a lot of water, but
So it's funny because today in New York it was like 75 degrees. And I kept seeing like people post things like memes like, are you still denying climate change? Are people still denying climate change? It's 75 degrees in New York today. You know, stuff like that. I've seen a few people post that. So I was like, just curious. I want to see like the record high temperature.
this is such a CERN move.
Well, because there is, I was like, well, damn, maybe it is because it is crazy hot for like middle of November. But people correlate that to like climate change, like one day. They correlate like one day, like a hot day, and like, well, it's climate change. But I looked it up, and in 1978, no, I'm sorry, in 1938, it was 78 degrees on this day, in New York City. So almost like 80 years ago, more than 80 years ago,
It was the same temperature.
it was a little warmer.
Yeah.
On this day. So like every day changes. Some days are hot and some days are cold. That's not, I don't think people understand that that's not really what they mean by climate change.
Yeah.
There may be like the oceans may be rising, but not because it was hot today.
Right.
That's something different. But anyways.
I do see some people like, our great grandchildren are not going to have 4 seasons.
I wish we didn't have 4 seasons. I wish we only had one.
What?
Well, 2. Christmas, just that month.
You just wish
and
that
then
month was
summer.
cold and
Yeah.
snowy.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Cold December and then like summer 95 degrees,
Yeah.
clear skies for the rest of the year.
That's what I wish. Yeah.
Okay.
How do we do that?
I don't know. I think we move somewhere and then just come here for the month of December if we want that.
Right.
I think that's the only solution.
Yeah. But so we've been just partying since you've been back.
Not really. No. Just we went out in the city last week. I think it was like a Wednesday. So I think when you go out on a Wednesday, you feel like you're like being crazy and like, oh, I'm partying in the city on a Wednesday. But then like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like we go to bed at like 9:00.
Yeah.
It's just that we have like weird schedules.
Right.
But yeah, we went out. We went to a club. Well, we went out to dinner and then everything. Did that. The whole,
did like a late dinner. Then we were saying, oh, we should go to a club. Zane, have you ever been to the Box?
Wait, first of all, I love this. So before you even get to the club, so it's me and my friends that we all like bottle waitress together. So we used to like go out to clubs like every night of the week. We knew like promoters at everywhere. We got into like any place we wanted and got like hooked up. But like we don't do that anymore. We don't go out, so we don't know anyone. And we're like, oh, let's go to the Box. I'm like, I was like, I had been to this place. This club in the city like in college, but I haven't been since, and I've been seeing on TikTok people talk about it still. And I'm like, oh, it's still cool. Like, I don't know. I remember I used to go there in college. I'm like, oh, let's go to the Box. And all my friends, like, they had gone there too, but not for like 10 years. And we're like, oh my God, I went there. That's crazy. We should go. And we're like, can we get in? We don't know. We're like,
they text someone. They're like, can you get us in? They're like, no, I can't get you in there.
Yeah. And we're like, whatever, let's just go figure it out. If not, we'll go somewhere else. So we go up and we're thinking like, all right, everyone friends, like, we were like, get your tits out, go to the front. And then sure enough, Big Kyle came through with the hookup.
Yeah. One of my promoting buddies.
No.
Like, yo, sir.
Yeah. And now all the girls
like, got right to the front, no cover, right in.
Yeah.
While all these line of people just
none of all the retired bottle waitresses had no pool. But of course, Big Kyle got recognized and got us in.
Promoter buddies.
Power of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He trains at Henzo's.
Yeah. So this place, Zane, this was my first time there. I've heard about it forever, but it's a wild place. Like anything goes. They could do whatever you want there. Like there's.
Well, don't say that. People are gonna think you're like it's gonna be like a sex club.
No, I mean, but it's just a wild place. But there's like live fucking acts. Like
I would say there's like no
shows.
judgment. So what they do is it looks like it's like a small club. There's a bar when you first walk in, then the room, and there's tables all around, and then there's a stage. So like starting at like 1:30, they do a performance every half hour. They do 3 a night, and it's like about a half hour performance. And it's stuff from like Cirque du Soleil. They have like naked girls doing like on the ring on like, I don't even know what it's called, but like twirling on the ring. They have like a guy and a girl doing like the Cirque du Soleil type of things where they do handstands and like super jack. And then they always do something weird. And I
like
remember
wild.
I remember like it was wild when I went before, but I can't really remember what I saw. But before we went, my friend was like, "Oh, the last time I was there, they did this girl was there, this dancer, and then she like shit on a pizza, and then like started throwing
in the middle
pizza,
of the stage, just squats down and shits on
and
pizza.
takes the shit. But it's like one of those like weird artsy, but then they're like playing music and everyone, and then they like turn off. So like obviously that there's always like a grand finale. I think that was probably the grand finale. So a lot of it is like weird, but it's okay. Like girls with no tops on and they're doing like weird dancing, but it's more like burlesque type thing. And then the grand finale kind of for when we saw
It wasn't the grand finale though. That was the first show.
Well, for that show.
Right.
There's like they acted out. They had like it was like a scene where it looked like this girl was like a caregiver for this grandma sitting in a recliner, and she was like abusing her, like punching the grandma, and the grandma's like and then the grandma like takes her gown, pulls it up, and is like naked on the bottom, and bends over, and the girl puts like. This is like so insane. People are gonna be like, "You're making this up." Puts a funnel in the grandma's butt and pours like it looks like soup. Pours it in, and then takes the funnel out. And the grandma's like running around the stage, like pushing it out of her,
shooting soup out of her butt. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. It's not wild, Caitlin. It's not that wild.
Well, you make it no. The performance is wild. But you make it seem like anything goes. Like people are having sex there.
I think it could
on stage. The performers, not people in the club.
We'd probably get into some weird shit.
I don't. It didn't look. It was look like when the performance was over and they just start playing Drake, everyone's just dancing like normal.
Yeah. But it's cool, Zane. You should check it out. It's 100 years old. It's been open for 100 years.
I was like, I can't believe this is still popular. This was popular when I was in college, and then like it's 100 years old. I'm like, oh,
it's not new. It's 100 years old. But it was like she used to go, and it was the first time I've been. But it's sick. Not a date spot, but it's cool. Definitely a cool place.
It's definitely just like a club. So so all of us were like want to go out, but we're all like kind of getting tired. So we get there at like. It was like 12:15. So for us, we're like, damn, it's late, and it was like empty in there. And it was just starting to get going, and then I was like, we really just wanted to go see a performance and then leave. We weren't really trying to hang out there all night. So I was like, I asked the bartender, I'm like, what time do they start performing? They're like, the first one's at 1:30, then 2:30, and 3:30. I was like, okay, I'll have a Red Bull, please. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. My legs are so tired. And I was like, fuck. So I had to tell everyone, I was like, guys, it's like the first one's in like an hour. So we got to wait an hour. And we're like, are we doing it? I'm like, because we're either leaving right now and going home or we're going to do it. And we're like, fuck it, let's do it. Whatever. So we stayed for the show, but it was tough.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But staying in the city. Big fight card this weekend, UFC 281.
MSG staycation.
Yeah, so we're going back to the city. We're gonna stay for the whole weekend, but going to the fights. Thanks.
I love going to the MSG fights a little bit more than fighting at MSG.
Really?
It's just because like I've already fought there twice, so like after the first time, the novelty of fighting there kind of wears off. I mean, the second time's cool, but like I'd rather fight exactly how this happened, where I fight on a different big card like right before and then be able to go there and enjoy it, because like I think it's fun to fight on there, and then it's also fun to spectate there because it's just such a cool event that it's fun. It's like so much fun.
It's such a special event every year, and I'm sure that this year will be like even bigger than usual.
Every year it just gets bigger.
Yeah, we've been to every one. I think this is the 6th UFC at MSG. We've been to every one, except for last year. That was the
Mhm.
only one we didn't go to because they had like some strict COVID
You had to be
policies.
vaccinated then.
Yeah. So that was the only reason we didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Which
last year
I
it
was annoyed because Candace Owens was there. We talked about this,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, she's obviously like not vaccinated.
And a lot of the fighters weren't.
Yeah, well, the fighters you don't have to be if you're
But a
performing.
spectator.
Yeah,
You probably maybe could have got in.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Because I know like fighters' wives were not.
Oh right.
We're having
Yeah.
trouble getting in. But she was there. I was like annoyed because I would have wanted to like meet her.
Yeah. So that was the only one we didn't go to, but there's so many like insane moments that have happened there.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first person to ever fight there.
So yeah, so I was on the first card. I was the first fight, and I was the first person to walk out.
Mhm.
So I'm the first fighter to ever walk out at MSG, like
Yeah.
MMA.
And that was when Conor McGregor fought Eddie Alvarez.
Yes.
That was such an insane card.
Mm-hmm.
That was, UFC 205. So many
Yes.
people.
That's like the
were
only one I
on that.
remember the number.
Well, because it was like
205,
205. Johanna defended her belt.
Mhm.
Tyrone Woodley and Wonderboy Thompson.
Who did Khabib fight?
But yeah, that's kind of where
Ah.
Khabib really got on like
Yeah.
everyone's radar.
Yep.
He fought Michael Johnson, and it was
He was
early,
talking
like
to
maybe
the
the first
Dana.
fight on the main card, but it was like, oh my god!
And he was like talking to Dana as he was
Yes.
beating him up. Like,
and Michael Johnson was doing really well back then, but
Yeah.
like no one is beating this guy. You knew like at that moment that then he was like a mainstream guy,
right.
and it
That
just
was
a
the
matter of
highlight.
time.
Yeah.
But then Conor just totally dismantled Eddie. That was the most insane crowd I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
And I thought it was really cool for that one because I had extra tickets. So like since I was the first fight, it was so early. We went back, we showered, and we
Oh,
went back
right.
into the arena and sat with my parents,
Right.
which like we never do, but we did it that time. And I'm so glad I did because especially for me fighting there, I was the first fight of the night. I don't notice the crowd
Right.
and everything, but that same night going back and sitting in the stands and watching it, I remember being like, wow, this is so cool. This is like
Yeah.
the vibe and the energy in the arena was so crazy. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just fought right there. Like I'm watching fights. I'm like, I just did that. Like it was kind of cool to put it into perspective of what I did. Cause sometimes you go in there, you do it and you walk away and you're just like, I don't know. It just felt like any other fight.
Right.
So I thought that was a cool experience to be like, I was there as a fan, like, wow, this is so cool. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just did that.
Yeah.
And then, but seeing all like the McGregor fans that came,
Insane.
and the whole week we were there in the city for fight week, we would talk to people at like bars we would go to. And that's where a lot of like the Irish people were saying that they come when Conor fights, they like sell everything they have just to, even if they don't go to the fights, just to be there is like brings them so much joy. Some people like sell like their furniture to
It's
afford
insane.
tickets, and they're like, oh, we get everyone piled up in a room. They're like, just as long as we're here for it.
Even if they don't go to the fight, they just want to
Yeah.
be in the city.
Yeah.
You know what I
so
always think is
cool.
funny about that card? We won't dwell on that. It was a long time ago. And I always wonder if this is true, but your friend, Lysandra, was bartending at Gansevoort,
Mhm.
and she swears that the night before the fight, Conor McGregor was there. Or was it the day of the fight?
No, I think it was the night before or
No,
it was
night
night before
before
the fight. Yeah,
Was
it
it
was Friday
at-
after weigh-ins.
At Gansevoort,
Mm-hmm.
drinking, and like he offered her tickets, she didn't really follow
She's
MMA.
like-
She's
she's
like,
like,
yeah, this
"Oh."
guy invited me to go to MSG fights.
Yeah.
I didn't go though. This guy.
Yeah.
I wonder, is that true?
I think so.
That is so wild. But he was out drinking the night
Yeah,
before.
she said with his coaches and stuff,
Yeah.
they were like really nice and just stayed in the corner. They weren't like partying. They were just, I mean, they were drinking, but they weren't like, yeah, like raging. And she said it was like in the lounge part and they were just drinking the whole time.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think it's funny when she tells that story.
She's so cute.
Yeah, it's funny. Then the next one, there's just so many good memories there. The next fight we went to was, remember GSP came back and fought Bisping there.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty sick because on that same card was when Rose knocked out Johanna.
So cool.
That was insane.
I mean,
that,
I'm like,
that was like it was the fight before GSP,
yeah, like set the
and
tone.
it like erupted.
Yeah.
because Johanna was unbeatable. Like
Yeah.
she was like the scariest person.
And people
Unbeatable.
kind of doubted Rose a little bit there because she would
Yeah.
talk about like her head not always being in it, and then and just too, you don't see that many knockouts for the girls, especially in the title fights.
Yeah.
So like seeing that was like wild. Like, because at that point everyone thought like Johanna was like untouchable. I don't even like talking about it because I like Johanna so much.
Yeah, I know.
But I really like Rose too. But
yeah, but that was a crazy moment.
uh-huh.
Then when GSP beat Bisping, because it was like his first fight back and went up a weight, I wasn't like surprised at all that he beat him, but that was still pretty sick to see.
Yeah, just to see him back like competing was kind of.
It was really cool.
Exciting.
Then I would DC and Derek Lewis. That was like not as special of a one.
But it's always, I feel like when both of them fight, it's always fun.
Right. And then the next one was that we were at when you fought Jennifer Maia, but it was on the BMF card. That was a sick event.
That was crazy.
Because
Donald Trump was there. He was
Yeah.
president and he came. Like, for that to happen, it was insane. I remember, so during fight week, it was
the
like
whole block.
It was like before the media
down.
day, and everyone was kind of talking about. They're like, "Did you hear? Did you hear?" And they're like, "No, did you hear?" They're like, "Trump might be coming to the fights," and everyone was like, "Get out!"
And he was the sitting president at the time. It was not afterwards.
Yes, it was during it, and I remember they were like, people were like, "It's so you don't realize like how much security for him to go there, like how much security, like." All the city blocks, like all around MSG were closed off. Like it was crazy. Then like after when we were trying to get our shuttles to get there, it was like a mess trying to get the shuttles to drop us off at MSG just because security was so
it took
intense.
forever.
Yeah.
I remember you couldn't leave the rooms.
Yeah. So he came like 2 fights after me, or maybe 1 or 2 fights after me. So when you're done fighting, I did the press, and then they have like a green room where they have like food and drinks, and you can watch the fights. This is in the back, so when you're done fighting, you can kind of hang out there. So I was there, or I just got done fighting. I was still in my like shorts and my top. They put us there. They're like, "Oh, just wait here for a second." It was before I did media, and we're like, "Okay." And then I didn't see you. You were in the back for Gregor, so I wanted to come see you. And they're like, "You just have to wait here because that's when the president was coming in." So all the doors and everything were locked, and until he walked through, so we had to wait there forever until he went and sat down.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. He went and sat down like in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's so, you would think he'd be like in a box or something. Like,
it was like front row.
It's so insane. And
but yeah, that's just that whole, I mean, not always is the president there, but that card is always like, there's so many cool people in the stands. And this year will be just the same. I can't wait.
I think it gets like bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah. But then we have this year, the fight card is definitely just as sick as usual. Want to make some predictions?
Yeah.
We'll do the main card. So the first fight on the main card with Dan Hooker and Claudio Pulis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
we don't know how to pronounce anyone's name.
Yeah, so sorry in advance.
I'm sure the one.
Do you know Hooker?
Yes.
And what about Claudio? So I know Claudio because he trained at the same gym. He's from Peru. So Raleigh Peterkin is friends with him. So
I know
I've met
just
him
right
once,
away.
and Dan Hooker is like well known. A lot of people know him, but I think Claudio is gonna kind of definitely beat him. He's on a streak, and he's submitting everyone. And he has, I think, in the UFC.
He fought Jared Gordon?
No.
No.
He has 4 finishes with a knee bar. How crazy is that, Zane?
I remember that.
4 with a knee bar.
And how many
That's
fights?
his thing.
How many
UFC his last fight was against Clay Guida, and knee barred him in like 30 seconds.
How many UFC fights has he had?
Like 6.
That's
he's
crazy.
Really good. Yeah, he's really good. But it's slick, like crazy, like scrambles into it. He has a lot of different ways that he flows into it. But he's one of my like I like to watch him, like a guy that nobody knows about. But
he was on your radars.
He was on my radar early because the first time I like knee bars too.
Yeah,
I always think that's a cool submission, but he does really slick knee bars. So hopefully this fight goes to the ground and knee bars.
Yeah,
Dan Hooker is exciting, but he's been losing quite a bit.
Dan Hooker's got long legs to knee bar.
Yeah, so it would be cool to see this Peru guy get a knee bar finish.
Peruvian brother.
Yeah, I like Peru. Then we have your team captain, your idol or role model, I suppose. Fighter you emulate, Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez.
I mean,
I don't really know Chris Gutierrez. I saw he's won a lot lately.
Uh-huh.
He's got a good record, 18-3. But obviously we got to go with Frankie.
Gotta go Frankie.
What do you think?
I just don't.
Any inside scoop on his training? Same
It's
as
the
always.
same as always. It literally is like the same as always. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, you know.
Like when it's so funny because when I watched, like he had some videos, or maybe it was Ryan Cafaro had some videos of them doing pads together, and like how Frankie moves is exactly how he, like if you saw like a silhouette, like
you
just
would know
a shadow
him.
moving like that, you would know that it's him. Like his side to side motion.
Well, he's had so much time in there, so if you watch MMA, you have so much time of seeing him do that movement.
And the one thing that they did in the video, the short little pad video, the guy Cafaro threw a leg kick and he like runs him down with a stiff, and I've seen him do that so many times.
Yeah,
for, you know,
that coach should be Frankie because that's like his move.
Yeah, but he like catches the leg kick. And
I mean, no one
down.
does that better than him.
He's the best. And then
I'm surprised you don't see people
his
do
head
that more.
movement off like throwing the jabs, but you just his movement is so like specific to him. So I really hope that he could go out on a win.
Yeah,
it would be pretty sick to win at MSG, then be done. Yeah. What else? Anything else on him?
No, it's just kind of like I've talked about it in like one of my interviews before. It's like, why is it that you feel sad that it's his last fight? But he's had such a good career. Like, it's gotta come to an end sometime, and like he's done so much in like so many years, but like
20 years,
so career. It should be happy, but it's like, I don't know, why is it sad?
Yeah, he has more time in the octagon than anyone that's ever done it, because not necessarily fights, but there's so many like title fights, minutes, and like
5 rounds,
of decisions. 5 rounds, a lot of main events. Pretty crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an end of an era with him.
And he's always been on top, even like the end of his career at bantamweight in the top 10. Yeah, like that's insane. He decided to go down. Like a lot of fighters that have been around forever, and like say like Clay Guida, Miller,
yeah, but they've been kind of at the bottom.
But they go down. They go to like the 15, and then they stay there. Frankie's been at the top of one of the hardest divisions, and it's just so crazy.
Top of 3 divisions.
Yes, but I'm saying like right now at the tail end, he decided to move down. And he stayed at the top. It's just insane.
Yeah, because it's a completely different sport than when he was the champion. So you could have been like, oh, it wasn't as good back then. He did it. He's done it at every level of the UFC.
Yeah.
From 2006 till now, 2005 maybe he entered the UFC till now, and he was good at every level, every weight class.
Wild.
It's really crazy. He's like a true legend in the sport, like a legendary fighter.
Yeah.
But hopefully he gets that win. Then we have Poirier and Chandler.
Poirier.
I think Poirier also, and I said just the same like you, like really fast. Yes, Poirier. But Chandler definitely has knockout power.
Yeah, he always has a chance. You're not. I mean, I wouldn't bet on it.
Either would I. It was. I don't bet on anything. It was. It's only a 3-round fight though. That would typically be a main event. So, I don't know. I think 3 rounds kind of plays
helps Chandler a little bit, but I still think it's kind of the same.
Because a 5-round with Poirier, I think is tough. He's got so many like big fight experience.
Well, I think if Chandler wins, it's going to be in the first.
Yes.
It's going to be a knockout. Yes. Or maybe he's stumped, like, maybe he wins. If in a 3-round, maybe he like wobbles him and it's a close for first round. He wobbles him and then gets that round. And then the next one does it again. And then,
Yeah.
But I think Poirier is going to win.
I think so too. I don't know. I think people are more excited about that fight than I am, but it probably will be a really good fight. But
I'm always excited when Poirier fights, but for some reason this one I'm like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that the fight on the main card for whatever reason. I know it's a big fight, but for whatever reason, I'm not that excited about it. I'd rather like new guys fight, like Chandler versus like Dariush. Not that Dariush is new, but
yeah,
it's
agree.
more like interesting to me. Like maybe Dariush would go out, take him down, and like submit him, or is a lot more. This is basically going to be like a boxing fight.
I agree.
I don't know why I feel that way, but I sort of do. Next we have Wei Lee and Esparza.
I'm gonna go Wei Lee.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wei Lee too, but
I
I'm
don't think
not gonna like. Everyone's like, that's ridiculous. She's gonna kill her. She's
Oh, I
so
don't know
great."
that. I wouldn't say that.
Carla Esparza is very experienced, and she definitely has like good takedowns.
Yeah.
Like she could really frustrate her. Like she could get head kicked and finished in
Of
30
course.
seconds too, or eat a knee going in for a shot. But there's a way that Carla could beat her.
Yeah.
She could take her down and hold her down. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
It's probably, I think Whaley's probably a heavy favorite, and she should be. But
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Esparza can do, just because I like people who use grappling, who don't have the best striking, but can figure it out.
She's kind of like an old school.
She's old school, yeah.
Old school fighter isn't as well rounded, but
I like.
She's
when
been
people
doing it a
figure
long time, and she knows how to use her skills to win.
Yeah, like she beat Rose. Everyone obviously hated that fight,
Mm-hmm.
but she
still did it.
Kind of figured it out though, because Rose mostly finishes people.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't just beat people; she usually finishes people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's a winner. She's definitely she's a winner.
I'm going with Whaley, but I don't know. I have also. I kind of feel bad for Esparza.
So do I.
I feel like she never gets credit she deserves. And then after that fight, I feel like they just trashed her, and I was like, I don't know. She's been around for so long, just grinding, doing her work, like working hard, and I just kind of always felt bad for her.
Yeah, she's sort of in the position where like that, how she got the belt, because it was like such like a lackluster fight, that people almost discredit her. Like she's not really the champ yet. It was kind of like when Aljamain had to beat Jan twice.
Yes.
To be
Carla Esparza has to win this fight. For
this
people
is her first title fight.
I don't think so. But
I don't think so.
But most people.
Yeah, but like Aljamain, same thing. Now he's totally like verified and distinguished.
Yeah.
Whereas the first time getting the belt, it was like, he's not really the champ.
He was still an underdog in the thing because
So if Esparza wins this, and I consider her the champ. She obviously is the champ.
Yeah.
For most people,
it wasn't even a disqualification.
Right, exactly. And then we have Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira.
I always forget that this fight's happening.
That's the fight.
I mean, I'm going with Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of like obviously the other guys got knocked out by her, but I just think Israel's like striking's too. Everyone's like just holding on to the fact that he got knocked out to him. I'm like, in a different sport so long ago. Like, there's literally, specifically, I'm thinking of this one girl in particular that I used to train. This one girl I used to spar with, and she was a really good boxer and then transitioned into MMA. She fights at 115. And she's like kind of smaller for 115, so I'm definitely a lot bigger than her. When we would box spar, I was going 100% using all my she was really good. We were competitive. The next day, if we do MMA sparring, it's a waste of my time. It was like me.
But would you use your wrestling and stuff?
Even without that.
Oh, without that.
Even without that. But
her thinking about
it, and it's just with the smaller gloves and adding adding the kicks and stuff. Now I know they fought in kickboxing, so it's a little bit, but it's totally different.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's some people that I spar girls that are pro kickboxers that give me good work, and they're like, you can do takedowns if you want. I'm like, no, it's because then you're not coming at me as good as you can. I think it's just two totally different sports. And I think that was so long ago that.
Yeah, I think one, it was so long ago. Two, obviously, like the big gloves make a difference. The octagon rather than a ring, that makes a difference. Yeah. But one thing that I don't think will be much of a difference is that Pereira is not going to be having to worry like, oh, he might shoot a double leg.
No,
I got to keep my hands down. It's going to be a kickboxing fight with MMA gloves.
I agree.
In a octagon. Like, I can't imagine that, just because Israel's more experienced, he's probably not thinking I'm going to shoot a double leg.
No, I don't think so.
It's got to be a kickboxing fight, but maybe he's better against the cage
with elbows.
Yeah,
I think I could be wrong.
Kickboxing doesn't have elbows.
I don't think so. I think that's like Muay Thai. I could be wrong.
And that's not what they did.
No, I think
because isn't one of those? Isn't there one kickboxing that doesn't allow leg kicks? I sound so.
I think that's
now.
I think that's like traditional like USA kickboxing, or I don't know.
But Glory kickboxing had
low kicks, but I think like no knees or no clinching.
Oh yeah.
I could be wrong. There's like a million different, like if you
Yeah.
go to like if you go to, when I used to do kickboxing matches, I would do the Lou Neglia, like at the Cafetel fights, and every fight was a different rule set. There was kickboxing when I first started. Then now they didn't do it anymore. When I first started, some of them were like I don't know if it was international, some type of kickboxing where it's like traditional, where you had to throw 6 kicks around.
Wow.
And it had, all the kicks had to be above the waist, and you couldn't clinch, and no knees. So you could really only go like teep, side kick, spring back. Like that was like real kickboxing. Then they did, or Muay Thai, where you could do low kicks, you could do elbows, you could clinch. And then they had like a different kickboxing where you could kind of do low kick. You could do low kicks. You could clinch, but only for like a second.
Because Israel's low kick is so
Yeah.
good. Like you picture him against was Bochacha?
Mm-hmm. Bushasha.
No. What was his name? No, not Buchacha. The real jacked guy.
Yeah. Costa.
Yeah. Costa, yeah. But they call him Bochacha, maybe?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But that he throws that long low kick. Just
Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa. Just chipping away at that
Yeah.
leg, and then it just like broke him with that low kick. So if maybe, I don't know, maybe they did allow low kicks, but if they didn't, that's a big difference.
Yeah. I think they probably did.
Good. They probably did, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll go with Israel as well. But just because, I don't know, I can't see this guy like knocking him out. And in a 5-round fight of this magnitude, Israel has been there for a long time. Like he's fought under the brightest lights.
Yeah.
He's fought at MSG before. We saw him fight Derek Brunson there. That's when I realized how good he was.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember that was on when DC fought Derek Lewis, but I remember thinking, and I don't know if I did bet on it. I was still betting on fights then, but I might have bet on that fight, and I bet on Brunson, I think. I was like, well, he's never run against a wrestler.
Yes,
yet.
that was when you
Derek
thought like, oh, he's gonna get
wrestle him.
taken down. Like, is his striking that good? Yeah.
And
you thought he was like
fucked up.
Who's the blonde kid that was?
Who's that?
Was it like dorky?
Oh, Sage Northcutt.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Where people are like, oh, he's good, but once he goes against higher level, he's gonna not do it.
But that was I was like, oh my God.
That was the fight where
no
like,
one's beating
oh
him.
no, the hype is real.
Yeah, I did bet on that, and then I was like chasing it, and I
Don't even tell me.
No, then I bet on that same card, Dave Branch fought Cannonier.
Yes.
And I was like, this dude's old. He's from Alaska. Dave Branch is gonna fuck this dude up, and
he got fucked up. Yeah.
But I remember I lost both of those on that same card.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Chasing it always sucks.
Oh yeah, terrible. But yeah, so I'll go Adesanya, Weili, Poirier, Edgar, and Claudio.
We agree.
You agree on all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Claudio, I didn't really know, but so that one, I didn't have much of an opinion.
It's funny because I could easily go 0-5.
100%.
Well, it's probably 1-5 or 1-4.
Which one?
Weili's probably the safest bet.
I would say Weili and Poirier.
You think? Wow.
I don't know. Watch, they're both gonna get,
Yeah.
People are like, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't.
We do not know. Never take our advice. I can't pick one winner.
It's
ever.
So hard.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Especially on the main card.
And I used to bet on every fight card.
Especially on main card because they're like, usually everyone's like ranked kind of close to each other, so they're usually like could go either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's not like on the undercard. Sometimes there's like a guy who's gonna be really good, but he just hasn't fought much yet.
All right.
So like when Bo Nickel fights, like he's probably gonna win his first fight. You know, there's guys that they want to build up on those undercards.
Yeah.
On the main card, it's just, dog eat dog.
I don't know if it's still like that. I remember when the fight was first made, they have Molly McCann is fighting Aaron Blanchfield. I don't know. I haven't checked it recently. When the fight was first made, Molly McCann was like a 2-1 favorite.
That's on this card.
Yeah.
If she's a 2-1 favorite, I will bet on that fight.
Yeah, and I think like Dave Portnoy said he was putting like $100,000 on, or I don't know if it was 100 or some like a certain amount on Molly McCann.
I mean, I would bet that Aaron Blanchfield finishes her.
Yeah, I think so. I was like, oh my God, it's an amazing fight for her.
Yeah. Like the best fight ever because it's like such a popular fighter, and the
Mhm.
camera's gonna be all over her. Like she'll
At
be at
MSG,
media day at
yeah.
MSG
Mhm.
with Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy is gonna be there,
Oh
like
my
sitting
God.
first.
Why couldn't you get that fight?
Because they're ranked too low.
But that'd be great.
They're ranked like 15 or maybe
Yeah.
higher, but I think that fight. I remember when it got first made. Like I was like, Aaron's an underdog. Like what?
I wonder if she still is.
I don't know. That's why I want to check because that was when it was first made. I was like, that no way. But I think she was like, it was like 2 or
Zane,
3 to
could
1.
you find the odds on that?
Yep.
Blanchfield McCann.
Yeah, but
This,
I think
this will get me out back into betting for this fight
yeah,
if she is indeed an underdog.
yeah. What if it's like
Even money, you
Yeah.
have to. I feel like that's a layup.
what if she's a favorite?
It says here that she's a minus 385 betting favorite.
Oh,
And
okay.
McCann is a plus 315.
Oh,
That makes more
okay,
sense.
never mind. Ignore
It's
the
a heavy-
ignore the
yeah.
last 3 minutes. But I remember when they put it up because MMA Junkie posted it, and all the comments were like, "How is she an under? How is she?
Okay.
That's crazy. That's crazy." People probably were like
Yeah,
that's what it should be. I think it should be even more.
that should be more.
I
Yeah,
think it should be like 5 to 1.
yeah probably.
There is some where she is 5 to 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
That makes a lot more sense.
All right.
I'm surprised she would take that fight
I thought that too.
to get because they would give her favorable matchups.
That's why I'm
but
so-
at MSG, like you want to like that
I
kind of
was-
takes all your steam away.
At first, I was surprised that the UFC made that fight because I was like, damn, I thought they were going to like protect her. But maybe they're like, well, maybe they think it's like an even match. And like, cause I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm biased cause like I know I trained with Erin and I know how good she is, but maybe they're thinking too, if Erin beats her, then it's like, if Erin like mauls her, then it like, that's
Oh,
good
yeah,
for her to
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
promote her.
That's true.
And
Maybe that's
she-
what they're thinking.
Yeah, like either way, it's a win-win for them. They'll have someone to promote.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because sometimes I forget that that's how like they got to build someone up, and then
But it's wild how much she's captivated people and like just kind of attaching herself to like Patty.
that's
And
what
now
it was.
you're like Barstool's girl. Like
'Cause
she'll probably get a job with Barstool afterwards.
Yeah, and she had UFC fights before
Yeah.
and wasn't popular, but then she just started like
Patty.
attaching, like hanging out with Patty and like putting her arm around him and walking out with him, and then all of a sudden they're
Yes.
like, oh, she's famous too.
Good for him though.
She
He
did
brought
at-
her up. He brought
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, I think that is
welcomed
cool.
her in. Like he let her kind of come up with him.
They
That's
have-
kind of nice.
And her last 2 fights, like,
Spectacular.
doesn't matter
knockouts.
who the opponent was. Like that was crazy. Those are crazy finishes. Like, you know what I mean? You don't see
Spectacular knockouts.
spectacular, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, and I didn't really have an opinion on her, and then I don't know if I told it on the podcast when she messaged me about training,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know if I told the story already. But I remember she was like, it was like after her last fight, she sent me a DM that she was going to be in New York visiting and wanted to train, and she's like, oh, if you want to train, like spar, grapple, anything. But it was the fight week of my fight with Reba's, so I wasn't here. But she like left me a voicemail and was like, oh, I would be honored to train with you, that'd be so cool, you know, if you're up for it. And I was like, oh, I love her. Like
Yeah,
right away
yeah.
I was like,
I hope she does.
I had no
well.
opinion on her. I was almost kind of a little like, maybe even a little salty, like, why are they promoting her? She's not even that guy. But, you know, and then after she sent me the DM, I was like, oh, never mind. I love her. I hope she does good. And I'm like, every time I hear her talk, I'm like, oh, she's cute. I like her.
Yeah. What else, Zane? That's our fight talk.
That's your fight talk?
You got anything for us?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my grandma edibles right now.
You're getting your grandma edibles?
Yeah, as we speak, I'm talking to people that get
I
her
feel like that's-
edibles.
Are you telling her that they're edibles?
She wants to try. So
She's never tried it?
never tried ever.
For what, pain or sleep?
pain,
or-
I think both.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
How
trying.
much
to
are you gonna give her?
I'm gonna give her like
5.
I think less
three,
than 5.
like
Okay, yeah.
3 to start, and probably even like half of 3, like 1.5.
Yeah, do it. And then if she doesn't feel anything, then, because that's like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's the common mistake people
dude,
do.
even 3 kind of fucks me up. Like,
So she
Same.
asked you, or
Grow up.
did you tell her?
Hmm?
Did she ask you, or did you say?
well, people in my family are like asking me to get it for her because she's like she can't sleep and she's gonna go try medical marijuana in Arizona in like a week.
But there's medical marijuana here.
She like doesn't know like how to get it here.
I think it's pretty easy.
she like doesn't know. I mean, she like it's an old lady. Like she has people in Arizona that like can do it for her, and like she's like getting out of here like for like her mental health.
Okay.
Because she's just like cooped up in the house all day.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Yeah, and then I'm like editing the podcast at night. She's like, "We have to clean your room right now. Like I can't wait a second longer. Like stop what you're doing. I need you to make your bed." I'm like, "Grandma, it's like 2 a.m. What are you doing?"
Oh, really?
Why can't she sleep?
She's in pain.
She's got like nerve pain in her ear.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's crazy. We were watching Kardashians and they show like Kris Jenner needs like a hip replacement, and she's like, I'm gonna take the gummy for the pain, and it's like it's so funny now, like the way things are now, like people our age and like you're even younger, like teaching their parents and grandparents like how to do it when like years ago they would have gotten in trouble for it, you know.
Yeah.
But now obviously it's totally different and it's acceptable. But I think it's like cool when like parents or grandparents like are open to like learning, and you know, I guess if you're in enough pain, you're like,
I don't know
care.
how much it helps pain, but like my dad is constantly in pain.
Yeah,
you should pitch him it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he bitches nonstop about his back. My back.
Yeah.
He won't do anything.
They helped my back so much.
Did it?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, before when I wasn't lifting, like my back would just hurt all the time.
So maybe it's from lifting, right?
I mean,
maybe your back got stronger.
My back did get stronger. I have a very weak back.
Oh yeah, you said that. Weak posterior chain.
Weak posterior chain. Underdeveloped.
That sucks. I don't have that problem.
You have a strong posterior chain?
I think so. I think my back's strong and I have no issues.
Mine's strong.
Never have I ever had back pain. I mean, like my shoulders and traps get sore. But
You asked me to crack your back 10 times a day.
maybe that's why I don't have back pain.
It's also because I spend most of my day like in like weird positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like inverted in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is for me. What else do I got here? So my girl's roommate went on a date with her sugar daddy the other day and came back at like 6 a.m. Woke the whole
What's a sugar daddy? Was he like 27?
like 35, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
And he gives her money?
He got her like a Van Cleef necklace the other day.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like a jeweler, like on like
Okay.
in,
Are
like,
they
the
like
Diamond District.
serious?
I don't know.
That's probably like.
Well, it's not necessarily a sugar daddy. It could be just like a gift in a normal relationship, right?
But they're not even dating, according to her.
It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
$3,000 necklace.
30,000?
3.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it could be just like my. Date.
Yeah. It could be just a Long Island guy, like
Yeah.
you know.
She has like
sells
no
weed.
interest in him, but like she like will like go to the city to like meet up with him and like if like a second's notice. It's crazy.
Yeah, that just sounds like a kind of like a.
Well, it sounds like interest if she's not getting money.
There's this one guy. I mean, I can talk about this because nobody knows, but like, there's this one guy that trains at Sarah's, and 2 of the girls that trains there, he's their sugar daddy, and they just be having threesomes on the.
But okay,
But what is sugar daddy? What do you mean by that? Like that? I didn't think of that as like they pay for my house, my car, like
just an allowance, I guess, just like everything.
a monthly thing.
Yeah, just a monthly thing.
I know a girl who was. She's single and she is kind of dating this guy, and she was telling me about it, and then I was like, "Are you dating?" She's like, "Well, I'm talking to the 2 guys that I told you about." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "Which one do you like?" She goes, "Well, this one, the one I like more." She goes, "But I really like him." She's like, "The other guy, the older guy," she's like, "I like him, but he's kind of more like a sugar daddy." She goes, "You know, I like him, but the other guy I really like. That guy's just like, okay, like, you know." And I was like, she's like, he was in Hawaii for 2 weeks and wanted me to come with. But I told him, like, I can't, I have work. Like, I work a job. I can't just go to Hawaii for 2 weeks unless I get an allowance. But she's like, if I get an allowance, then I'll go. But then I'll hang out whenever he wants. But she's like, yeah, I'll go.
That's wild how popular that is.
Well, it's become popular, and it's like girls explain how they do it. And I think they're more open. That's the whole thing with social media. You can find a niche for everything. Like,
oh, that's huge.
so
yeah.
like that, girls will tell each other how to do it.
Bookings.
And then it's like more acceptable, and it becomes more acceptable where they're like open about it. It's not, they're like, you know what I mean?
You know what, like, is really unfair? Like, people always talk about like the wage gap or women don't get paid as much as men. What's really unfair is that prostitution is still illegal, right? So the only prostitutes that probably ever get arrested are like the ones that are doing it for like $20 on the street, like a street walking, like
what you think of as like a textbook prostitute.
Textbook prostitute, but
in a black skirt.
Most prostitutes are like on yachts in Dubai, like living their best life.
Yeah,
and they all look exactly the same.
There is no chance that they will ever get in trouble for that, or arrested for that. But what's the difference? But this poor like crackhead that's like blowing a guy in a car for like $15 is gonna get arrested, and probably gets arrested all the time. That's kind of really not fair.
No, it's not.
Because so many girls all over the world are, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think prostitution should be 100% legal.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course it should. Like, you ever see how that, I think it was a Family Guy episode. There's like these two, you ever see this?
No.
There's like a guy with a prostitute or a girl in a hotel room and they're just about to have sex. And the cops bust on the door and be like, "We just saw you pay her to have sex with you. You're under arrest for prostitution." It's like, no. We're filming it. We're making a movie. Like if you film,
because like porn's fine. It's the same. They're getting paid to do it.
Like, oh, that's fine. As long as you're filming it, you could.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
But so there's a lot of like loopholes in prostitution. But the street walking prostitute is wrongly arrested all the time.
I wonder if there's.
Whereas like
I wonder if they still get arrested now.
Of course they do.
I mean, I feel like people don't get arrested anymore.
They definitely do.
I mean, I would think that the girls would be fine, and then the guys trying to pay for it would get arrested.
I feel like more of the streetwalker prostitutes
is that even
are. I think they're a lot more trans women now.
Like
we've seen them even.
We saw them. Well, I don't know if they were really. They were just standing on the corner, and they looked like that stereotypical prostitute. Like I said,
really
a black,
scantily clad,
like a black skirt, fishnets, and like a tube top.
Yeah, but they were
and like a
men.
Purse. It was a big dude.
Yeah, big dude. But I mean, trans women. But,
Yeah.
We saw it like right in our town.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I saw them the other day on the corner
outside a Chinese restaurant.
I saw them the other day in broad daylight. I saw them the other day. I was like, walked by, and I thought it was just. I'm like, oh, it's just someone dancing. I didn't think it was a prostitute, but I thought I'm sure you could probably ask, but I wasn't getting that vibe. I was just like, oh, they were like dancing on the like with the headphones on. I'm like, oh, it's just like kind of a crazy person. And then the other day we were in our town driving by, which is like the next town over, and I saw them, but they were in like scandalous clothes there. I was like, inappropriate, girl. Like, there's kids around here.
Yeah.
What's the prostitution market like in Amityville?
Well, that's the first. Since living on Long Island, that's the first I've ever seen that.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the street walking prostitutes. Well, probably not too many.
Not on Long Island, right? Like in the city.
There's definitely some.
Street walking?
Of course. Like if you go to Hempstead or something, there's definitely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then like, I'm sure in Amityville there's like, a rub and tug.
Well,
right?
yeah, but I feel like that's different. I feel like that's not as, that's like whatever, who cares?
Yeah. But I just feel bad for the street walking prostitutes.
Yeah. It's not fair that
because those are the ones that get arrested and no one talks about this.
And they're working
They
hard.
may do that make pretend wage gap. Like that's bullshit. If we both are teachers at this school district, they're not paying women less than men for the same job.
Yeah.
Right? But these prostitutes are wrongly arrested.
That's not fair. Justice for the street girls.
Yeah, they need a voice. We should
start a movement.
There should be a voice for them.
I'll be the voice.
Because a lot of them are trans women too.
Yeah.
So they should have even more of a voice.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Well, hopefully, maybe we can help them out. We should get the one, if we see them in town, we should have them on the podcast.
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said
we could do that.
Them.
It'd probably be an interesting story.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. We should.
We could maybe film off site.
Yeah, I don't Yeah, we should. We should do it.
Yeah. Zane, are you around this weekend?
Yeah.
If we land like a big guest, would you call it to the city and film in the hotel?
Yeah.
All right, we have something in mind, but it's a long shot. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more story.
Oh, go ahead.
It happened to me today. This is more like
today.
I'm just like am I seeking advice or do I just want to talk about it? I kind of just want to talk about it.
Well,
So
hopefully people chime in and give their advice.
So I'm like with my girl, and like I get to see her like after training, because I went to drop off baby Dave. For those who don't know, baby Dave is my friend from Australia that's visiting the gym. And I'm like driving him back to his house, and like he forgets his keys twice at the gym.
Mhm.
And then like I drive back and take him back to his house. I drive back, and so like it's like already like 4 like by the time I get to like see her. And we are starting to, do I have to be like PG on
No,
the
you can say
podcast?
whatever you want.
So we're like starting to have sex, right? And
I was
like
talking about street walking prostitutes. What are you talking about?
so we're like starting to have sex. I think like around this time I start to like catch
Oh my
I like
God.
catch the text you guys sent me. It's like, are you free tonight?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, I should respond to this now, but I kind of like want to have sex.
you
so like
had to respond to it
so
right away.
we're having sex, and like she's on top, and like while she's on top, I'm like getting kind of stressed out. I'm like, I haven't responded yet. And, like I want them to know I could do the podcast tonight. And
How long are you gonna go for?
I just while she's on top, I just get soft. Like
but how long were you gonna
So
go
it's
for
our
that
fault.
you had to delay?
No, it wasn't your fault.
But Zane, how long were you gonna go for that?
It typically lasts a pretty long time.
Like how long?
Really?
Compared to previous relationships I've been in, it's like probably the longest I've
How
ever.
long?
Like, average like 40 minutes.
40 minutes. That to me seems like a really long time.
After training,
Dude,
did you hydrate?
Let me tell you, it's kind of
So
stressful.
40 minutes is kind of a long time to not text someone back. I thought you were gonna be like 10 minutes.
No, it was like kind of stressful, man. Cause like she like so she has like a bigger sexual appetite than I have. Cause by the time like I'm done training, or like I have to
Tired.
go lift, or I have to do a second session,
Yeah.
or I have to like edit,
Film.
and I'm just like, God, like there's so many things happening. And
Well,
like
yeah, if it's that long, then like it's a big chunk out of who has time for that in the middle of the day?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like it just like I just thought it was funny. And like she like didn't take it like personally at all, which I was like
She's
very
like,
happy.
you're not
about.
attracted to me anymore.
No, like we talked about it after. I was like, I'm just like busy. Like I hope you like understand.
Then
Yeah, I'm
did,
just
did you get to finish?
I did
Oh,
after.
well, that's
But it was
awesome.
like this is the first time. I'm actually not the first time it's happened to me. Like the second time.
I mean, it probably won't be the last.
Yeah. But it was like I just felt so embarrassed in the moment. I was like, oh God, I'm supposed to be like young and full of
Yeah.
energy.
It's funny because I think when that happens, like a guy is
Of
embarrassed,
course.
but the girl, no matter what, is more embarrassed.
That's crazy because the girl.
Girls
like,
don't understand how it works until you
Yeah.
get older. Like girls don't understand how it works, and they're just like, "Oh my God, I'm not turning him on."
No.
And then the guy's
Mhm.
like, "No, I'm just stressed." And you're like, no matter what the guy says, the girl is gonna think like it's me. They're not like
Yes.
I'm not attractive enough,
Yes.
Mhm.
or I'm not turning them on.
Yeah.
I feel like like girls don't understand that until it's like you're past that point of your life.
Because like guys, like it's more like you could have sex with someone who you're not attracted to at all.
yeah.
Like if you
Mhm.
just that's not really the end all be all of
Mhm.
attraction.
Yeah. Where
You
I think
know.
that's what it's like more for girls. So that's why we don't
What
understand.
girl? What do you mean by that?
I feel like girls have to be kind of attracted to the person and like the person
You think?
a little more than
More than
I think more
guys.
than guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
No,
guys
obviously
definitely
not
being
all the
attracted to them is not
Yeah.
always like. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that you have to be like overly attracted to someone.
Right.
Mhm.
But
I think it's just like for guys, it's just like, what do I got?
There's so
going
much
on
pressure,
today?
right?
Well, I mean, with this, because like I actually like the girl.
Yeah.
But like if it was somebody random, I'd be like, I don't care. Like if I don't finish, like I'm just gonna leave. Like, you know.
yeah,
Peace.
Yeah. Actually, this happened to me before, but like for like a very like a 3-week period with like my first girlfriend. And I was like, maybe I'm gay. I remember, but I was like, oh, you just stressed me out, so I don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, but then you realize that when you leave, you're like, oh, I just
but
didn't really.
did you
like
think you were gay because you didn't want to have sex with her, or because you thought about having sex with men?
Because I just didn't want. I just like it just doesn't work with her.
So that doesn't mean you're. That shouldn't.
Well, that
give
was the
you
first
gay
girlfriend. That was
vibes,
the first
right?
But that was like the first girlfriend, and she
'Cause-
took it so personally. She was like,
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not pretty enough. You hate me.
And then
I
you're
was
like, well, that's not helping.
yeah, I'm
That's
like, this is
making it
actually
worse.
making it worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always kind of the dilemma. The girl starts like, yeah, what are you talking to someone else? Are you thinking about that? And then the guy, now he was stressed just to do it. Now he's stressed about that. And it's just like a whole mess.
I think 40 minutes is too long. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm
40 minutes is like a 5-round fight, you know, like,
Well,
like
it
more than a 5-round fight.
is-
But I like, you know, prefer a 3-round fight. A 5-round fight is kind of like you get bored.
Well,
like a
first-
boxing match. A
Yeah.
boxing match to watch 12-round boxing match.
It's like
Well,
40
the first
minutes.
2 rounds are just feeling each other out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just kind of stalling till the end.
Yeah.
And then she's like ready to go again. And I'm like, I need a break, man. Like, just give me a second.
yeah, 40
Damn.
minutes, of course.
Yeah, it's stressful sometimes.
You're sweating?
I am.
I bet.
I am.
And you're in like a little dorm room?
Yeah.
Oh,
And at
man.
like a certain point, it's like why do my abs burn? It's like, what is going on?
You gotta like make sure you have protein after.
I do.
Like a protein
It's like a
shake.
workout. It's like cardio on top of my training.
Damn, that's why you're getting so good.
That's why you're getting so jacked. Right?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Damn.
It's like another workout.
When you get promoted, you have to make sure you give her a shout out for helping your training.
Thank you so much for my conditioning.
Oh
yeah, I'd
my
like to thank my strength and conditioning coach.
Oh my god.
That's
So wait,
great.
did you text us back and then keep going, or did
I
you
texted you guys back when I finished.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was it 40 minutes later?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 40 minutes is a long time to not text.
Yeah,
someone back,
especially like
kind of.
during the
It's not really, though. Sometimes I text people back like next
You
day,
usually
2
never
days later.
answer
Yeah,
us
you don't
anyway.
usually text back.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that.
So we wouldn't
What's the
have noticed.
stress? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, oh, because it's like. when
Well,
you
it
guys are
was like what time today? do you
yeah, and
wanna
I was
do?
like, I need to get back. Like, she's like on top of me. I'm like, I need to get back to them right now. I'm just thinking about it. Like, she's having a great time, obviously. But I'm like, me and Bottom, I'm just like, where's my phone? Like, can I like sneak a text?
And then you hear like, it's like Bob buzzing. It's me going, Zane, are you alive? Answer now. You never answer us. You hate us.
And then it's like I gotta watch out for my other client too. I'm just like, I gotta get back to everybody. I'm like, I'm like,
You're just too busy.
it's getting crazy. It really
good.
is. Yeah, I'd rather be busy than not busy.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hate not being busy.
Yeah,
I don't. Idle mind is devil's playground.
that is the deepest thing you've said today.
Damn.
Did this ever happen to you?
What?
Just like getting soft in the middle of like.
Yeah, sure it has.
What?
Well, kratom is really bad for that.
Well, but like when you were my age,
Probably, yeah.
you don't remember?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it has happened. Of course. Yeah.
that smile.
No, I mean, of
He's
course.
like,
yes.
I just can't
I mean,
remember
yeah, it
which
has.
one.
No, I mean,
I feel like in college it's always a big thing because like people are like when you're younger, like you're going out
Drunk.
and drinking
Mhm.
a lot. I feel like that was
Yeah.
always that's like always something that happens. Like
yeah, if you're drunk.
whiskey
Yeah.
dick.
Yeah.
But like when
No,
you get
yeah,
older,
that's
we don't-
definitely happened.
That's crazy.
It's not that crazy.
yeah, don't make it seem weird.
Yeah, it's not that
we're
crazy.
saying it. It's
There's
relatable.
in billion-dollar medication, billions, trillions probably
Mhm.
of medication just for that issue.
I took a dick pill once.
An actual
Actual.
like a Viagra.
No, like the one you get at a gas station.
Doesn't,
Oh
like,
well, that's not actual. That's gas station.
Well, it was more like at a CVS. So
All
I
the
don't know if
guys
that-
What
that-
was it? Like a rhino?
No,
fucking-
so it actually came in like a liquid form. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was called like Energize, and like I got one with my friends, and we were like,
Same.
all
Probably
right.
took a 5-hour energy shot.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm ready to fuck.
So did it work?
I guess so, because I hated the girl, but that was my first girlfriend, and we like.
That's
had-
another thing. Even if you hate the girl, that shouldn't matter.
No, but like I hated her so much, she stressed me out.
Oh, okay.
That was
Yeah,
the first one. Yeah.
it was like, how do I get rid of you?
So that was the girl that stressed you out and you couldn't do it for a while, and then so you used a gas station pill and then or whatever liquid, and then
Yeah.
you were able to do it.
And then it was almost like I needed to get it, or else like I felt like I was.
That's
like,
the
I
only
just
way
can't.
it's gonna happen. She sucks.
Yeah.
There was one off market, like I would call it a gas station, but I got it from Gary Tonin. I still have some. It was called Purple Dragon, I think.
Yeah.
But that one definitely is legit.
Purple Dragon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into it.
Well, I think you have to get it in Thailand.
I'll
But Gary Tonin brought some back.
have
He
my
probably
guy.
has like cases of it.
I'll have my guy
He
send
definitely
it.
does.
Yeah.
That's where all the guys are getting it. I remember like everyone talking about Purple Dragon.
I'd give it to you. I would, but it's like not like you'd have to take the whole thing, but it's like you like squirt some on your tongue.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do you think like
Purple
social
Dragon, that's what
media?
it's called, right?
Something dragon.
Do you think like social media is like leading to erectile dysfunction?
Not necessarily social media, but probably porn.
Probably porn.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about in our podcast when we talked about it, just you and me. I was like, that's when I started first
yeah.
hearing about everyone talking about how bad porn is
Yeah.
for everyone. And I was like, wait, I always think, oh, porn's bad for people that are like sex addicts that like watch it all day long and like can't like people that are like in public places and they can't even like help it, like going to the bathroom and watching porn. Like I always think I'm like, it's bad for that. But now they're like showing all the studies saying how it's super bad for like our whole society.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh my God, that's a little extreme. And then I was like, I kind of
No, I think it is.
I
yeah.
get it. I think it is like just that and social media in general. It's just like I forget. I don't know which podcast I was listening to recently. I think it was on Tim Dillon's or whatever. They were talking about it. I think it was his this week, and they were like, just think like at age like 13, you can see the hottest girls in the world doing everything like that. They're like, then you're gonna
Yeah.
go to like a random girl like 13 when you're like, you know, in high school, like 15, and you gotta like hook up with a girl and you see that
Yes.
stuff, and it just like it makes you like now like before it was a big deal, like before the internet when you would see like a Playboy and you're like,
magazine.
oh my God, but that was almost like just like a model, like
The Victoria's Secret magazine.
now you see
was, like-
everything. And like think about like kids going like looking at porn, they're seeing like there's so much like fucked up shit on there, which like I get, but like when you're that young seeing it,
yeah.
I don't know. But they say it's like, and now like a lot of times what you were saying, like with guys, they're used to like jerking off to just porn, and then when they go to have sex, they almost like it's like virtual reality.
What's that movie that we
Don
watched?
John?
Did you ever see the movie Don
Is that what
John?
it's
No, of
called?
course
No,
you
of
haven't.
course I
You've
haven't.
never seen it.
Yeah.
That's a fucking good
I
movie,
think it's
man.
Don John.
The guy, he's like a good-looking dude, and he's like always getting hot chicks, and he gets Scarlett Johansson is his girlfriend, and right? Scarlett Jo.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and he's like, he's always getting hot chicks, and he hooks up with
Don
her,
John.
and he can't finish, or he either
No.
doesn't finish, or once he finishes, then he sneaks into the other room and or just jerks off. He's like, I just like jerking off so much better, and he always has like the hottest chicks, and he can't like,
Yeah,
he
he's-
can't beat it. He can't. It's like his problem.
Yeah, he's like addicted.
He's addicted, but he's like, I like it so much better. And he has like Scarlett Johansson, like yeah, it's
But I think
it's
that's
a good movie. It's funny.
Oh yeah,
It's funny.
but I
movie.
think that's probably a real thing for a lot of people.
yeah, it's just probably not as extreme, like where you actually have like.
I think it is
Yeah,
probably.
you think?
I think it's probably then maybe they get like the hottest chick or whatever, and then they're with them for a while, but
Oh,
then
yeah,
eventually
yeah,
they do. You
yeah,
know what I
right,
mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's why like, I mean, there's people that are with like the hottest girls in the world, and they like go with like gross like prostitutes and
Right,
stuff.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's not that they don't. It's not the hotness of the
Right,
girl.
right,
It's
right.
just like whatever they want. You know?
Got it. Yeah. But yeah, that's normal, Zane. It happens to everyone.
Thank you.
I mean,
He'll
I
give you
think
some-
maybe not everyone, but it's happened
Yeah.
to me definitely.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
It's common.
It's not the end of the world.
All right.
You're bummed about it?
No,
No,
I was
alright.
bummed for like a little bit, but I was like, I mean,
Now you're over it.
I don't really care.
You texted us and then went back to it, and now you're fine.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's a big deal, man. You're going 40 minutes. Good for you. Yeah.
God, you need a purple belt for sure. Don't worry, Kyle will give you some expired purple dragon after this.
I'm very excited to try it.
No, you can't give him the purple dragon because it's I got real Viagra too.
Don't let me put on that. That's too much for me.
No, that's not. You take a half of one.
Okay.
Sure.
Just see what happens.
Stop giving Zane things. Let him be a nice college boy.
I'm just saying, if you wanted.
Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna end it here. Oh my God, my parents listen to this.
Oh man, that's like a
at least,
turn. That was on Zane.
Yeah, at least Zane's parents don't listen.
Wasn't
to
it interesting though?
Interesting?
Yeah.
Not really. It's like, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners, they like to know what you're up to.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
give a couple stories, if you don't give any stories for a few weeks, people wonder what's going on in the life of Zane.
I'll do something wild this weekend. Just to like,
Just
get
Well,
out.
hopefully we're in the city and we do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm available.
That'd be fun.
I'm mobile.
We could bring our equipment.
Yeah, I mean, just this.
All right, we gotta go.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys. Leave comments and subscribe. We love you. Bye.